What's going on, everybody? So welcome to another What Sold on eBay video. It is now June 28th and I'm recording only the second week in June, so yes, I'm still behind, but I just didn't get a whole lot of time to source this month. I say that, and it's not necessarily that I've been busier. It's just I've taken less time for whatever reason, playing around, maybe just less motivated. I don't know. I could give you any excuse under the sun, but the numbers have been pretty good. So we're gonna knock this video out here. As you can see, eBay has improved and or adjusted their sales reports, so they come out looking a little bit different. So you can see for the period ending June 8th through the 14th, I'm up 35% from last year. I think it's comparing last year. June 8th to June 14th of 2019. So that's an interesting metric. Rather than measure you from the time frame, it actually gives you the option. You can either do it from last year or like maybe the week before, same period last year, or you could do a custom one. So I like seeing how much I've improved year over year. So this makes a little bit more sense. Not only that, it shows you the fees that have been taken out, the selling cost, and then net sales. So net sales is kind of the number you really want to pay attention to, but 3652 overall. Some of that money you get back with shipping fees and whatnot, so with the discount that they give you, so keep that in mind. But another good week of sales. Here's 10 Bolos, items to be on the lookout for if you can find them, and we'll get started with this first one. This first one, it's probably going to be difficult to find these in thrift stores. I actually bought this rope. It's a climbing rope from a liquidation company almost 4 years ago, and there were no listings for it, and this is when I was selling on Amazon FBA, heavily retail arbitrage, heavy online arbitrage. So got the rope, couldn't find the listing, and didn't really want to make the listing, so it sat, and it's been in my basement for 4 years. Finally pulled it out, got it listed. It sold within a couple of days for full price, so I got $99.99 for this climbing rope, and the buyer paid $18.05 in shipping and then $9.74 in tax. So what costs I have, zero for this year, but it was probably like $5, $6, $7 when you tally up all of the things that came in that lot that I purchased. So keep that in mind. But the cost of goods for this year for this item is zero. So 99 bucks, pretty cool, brand new. Had one buyer message me asking me how long it had been used. So I had to kindly remind them that it had never been used. It was brand new. Please, people, read your descriptions. So yeah, that one's that. Next one here is LL Bean and Henley Pullover. Interesting that this sale took place now because it's sort of a fall-winter item, but the comps were good and it sold for full price, $24.99. Buyer paid $10.90 in shipping and $2.42 in tax. So all in, they are about 37, 38 bucks, and I paid $4.99 for this item. It just goes to show you, items that should probably sell a little bit better in the fall or winter will also sell in the summer. Not only that, I didn't source this very long ago, so within a month or two, I still made this purchase where most people are looking at the shorts, tank tops, short sleeve, lightweight clothes. I went and purchased this because the comparables looked good to me, so keep that in mind. And then 25 on 5 is still a pretty good return at the end of the day, so keep your eye out for items that are fall season related, especially the ones, if you're shopping at Goodwill, that are color discounted. They give you 50% off, give you a little bit better margin at the end of the day there, and the rest is history. So I'm hoping that some of you have seen these in thrift stores and passed them up, and then you see this and you go, okay, I'm not going to do that again, because the Nike Air Monarchs sell incredibly well. So this is one of those instances where a lot of resellers, they end up passing these up because they don't know that there's any value in them, but every single time I list one, it's at least 30 bucks. And that's what the buyer paid for this one. 10.5 is like a really core, good men's shoe size, so that helped as well. And these were really clean. Style number right there, 415445. Give you a picture of the soles here. Soles were in pretty good condition. I didn't bother cleaning these up or washing them. Normally I do that with the majority of my shoes, but I just left them as is because they were firm and they still looked pretty good. So $29.99, $10.90 in shipping they paid, so they are $40.89 all in, and I paid $4.29 at a thrift store. So pay attention to the Air Monarchs. It's like really big. I mean, it's like almost like a snow boot. They're like big and clunky and heavy, but people love to walk in them. So you'll notice like the older generation, they walk in these often. So keep your eye out for them. It's a good bolo. All right, so this fan here sold for full price, $99.99. This is actually an item I don't know if this one went global shipping or not. Buyer paid $28.20 to have it shipped, and then $11.38 in tax. So they're $139.52 all in. This was like shoved in a corner by a bunch of lamps in a very small Goodwill, and it was really dirty. So I had to unscrew it, take it apart, and wipe it down, which didn't take me more than 10-15 minutes. But I knew what I had because of doing the research and the comparables, and I was happy to take this thing home. It only cost me $6.99, so it was a really good return on a $7 spend. So the brand is Lakewood. The style number was HV-18. Now it says chrome. There's still a little bit of like rust and fading. Chrome usually doesn't do that, but so it might not be 100% chrome. But I noticed it in some of the other comparables that this does in fact happen to this style model. So so I was okay listing it as such, and I still knew that I was going to have no problem selling it. So the fan worked like it was brand new. I mean, it was extremely powerful and very quiet. It's a nice thing about these like big oversized fans is they're not really as loud as a lot of people might think they are. But Lakewood fans, the vintage ones, especially, this was made in the USA. Keep your eye out for them. Don't pass them up. And you know what? Don't be afraid to put a little bit of work in at the end of the day, because you'll get your money back. So, and then some. So yeah, this was a good bolo. Keep your eye out for these guys. Sony Trinitron. So this thing was very small, like fits in the palm of my hand, like really tiny. I'll show you some pictures of it right here. It was marked $4.99 at Goodwill. I always look up Sony Tech no matter what, and you can see like just really small. The model is KV-8AD10. It is only an 8-inch screen. Again, people use these for gaming, keeping them in their workshops. They're multifunctional, and they still have a ton of value. So this one sold for full price, $119.99. Buyer paid $14.82 in shipping, so they are $134.81 all in. And again, I paid $5 for this. I have a feeling that a lot of people would pass up on this one too, just because it just looks old. It just doesn't look like there's any value in it. I mean, something that like, you know, fits in 2 palms, you know, is just really tiny. So keep your eye out for them. Don't you make the mistake of passing this item up and thinking the same thing, right? You know, if you do this in a professional manner, get your phone out, do your research, because, you know, I got 120 bucks for this bad boy, and I hope you do too. So I'm pretty pleased with that sale at the end of the day, and move on to the next one. A Ludwig 32-key xylophone. The only reason I bought this is because I made a deal with the manager on duty at a Goodwill. She had this marked $59.99, and it sat for, I think, almost a month, and no one was buying it. And so I kindly went to her and I said, hey, you've been sitting on this for a while. I'll tell you what, if you let me do it for 20, I'll buy it. And she was like, no sweat, I'll take it. That's great. So I got it for $20, and it sold for $79.99. The buyer paid $40.25 for shipping. Now, I think this went, this went expedited. I had this marked USPS priority, and what I've done lately is I've switched a lot of it over to FedEx Ground to really reduce my shipping costs, because just looking through all of like the solds and then paying attention to the shipping costs that buyers have paid from my items in the past, I thought I could probably do better price-wise. And so there's really not much of a difference price-wise that I've noticed between USPS, like ground regular shipping, and their priority. And FedEx has been extremely cheap and much cheaper than USPS on a number of fronts. So I think the reason this took as long as it did to sell for me, and we're talking 4, 5, 6 months, I think, is because of that $40 shipping cost. But this buyer was okay with that, so they paid $752 in tax also. They're $127.76 all in, and again, I paid $20 for it. Ludwig is the brand. Came with a branded bag there. I don't know. Yeah, see, there's the picture of the logo right here. I'll enlarge it so it's easier for you to see. In wonderful condition. You can see it was a while ago because my deck is still gross. I've recently finished that. And then I'm wearing a sweatshirt, so yeah, it was chilly when I sourced this guy. Hot Wheels. I didn't play with Hot Wheels as a kid, so I'm not really familiar with them. I understand that, you know, people are still nuts about them, and I respect that. So I saw a vintage Hot Wheels case in a store. When I opened it, one of them, when I was running comps, it was like a yellow van, and it was worth like $10 or $15, but it was from the 70s, and so I thought, okay, there's like 20 to 30 other cars in this pack. I'm just going to take it, and here's something new to learn. If that one sells for 15 and the case alone for those 30 cars was only like $10, let's take them. There's bound to be another one in here that's got some value. I mean, it might be like, I might like chip away at it, but let's see what I can learn. Let's see if we can make some money. Lo and behold, this one was in one of those lots. So this was a vintage Hot Wheels Black Wall T-Bird, or excuse me, Trans Am. So the things to know about Hot Wheels, for those of you that don't, are sometimes the cars were made in Hong Kong, sometimes they were made in Malaysia. You want to disclose that. Sometimes the values will be a little bit different. This this Hotbird Trans Am was blue with an orange stripe and then yellow, like a yellow decal right there, as you can see. And I got full price for this thing, 60 bucks, which I think was in the upper tier for this model in this condition. And I, you know, couldn't believe this. This is the first Hot Wheel that I've ever sold in my life, the first time I ever sourced Hot Wheels, and I got $60 for this. So I mean, I'm thrilled, and I've got tons left to list even. So 60 bucks, $3.99 to ship, and then $4.80 in tax. There's $68.78 all in, and I, you know, what did I pay? 33 cents. There were 30 cars, and I paid $10. So yeah, a steal for that. And really the only reason, and I've seen, how many times have you seen in Goodwills where they have them just in bags, lotted up like $9, $8, $7? But the only reason I was compelled to look at this one is because I knew the case was old. It was a vintage case that it came in, and then that's what prompted me to open it in the first place. Saw the van, and the rest is history. So what a sale! You know, I'm as happy as can be selling Hot Wheels, because, you know, it was just never a thing for me. Not that I don't love cars, they just weren't, Hot Wheels weren't my thing. I had other interests. So yeah, good one. Keep an eye out for those Hot Wheels cars, especially the vintage ones. All right, so this is a vintage chrome Toastmaster toaster. Now, it's not like the Holy Grail Toastmaster toaster, but close enough. So I paid $10.10 for this at a store called Ohio Thrift, and I got full price for it, $50. The buyer paid $20 to have it shipped, so $69.99 all in. And it took a little cleaning, and I tell you what, straight chrome is hard to photograph. So you even see in that picture right there, it looks kind of dull, and there's not a lot of luster. And you can see I set my phone timer on there because I'm not in the picture. Some of the other ones I am in a little bit. Tried to take it outside and film it. The buyer left glowing feedback. They said that it was even better in person, and it was. Like, I just, for whatever reason, could not photograph this this chrome on this day for whatever reason, but it worked flawlessly, and I knew what I had based on the comparable sales that I did. It has a very long, thick cord that was in excellent shape as well, and it's just a two-slice toaster. So keep your eye out for these vintage Toastmaster toasters. They still sell very, very well, and you know, 50 bucks on 10 is a wonderful return. So keep your eye out for those. Okay, this next thing is just it's a deep fryer. I don't know a whole lot about it. Tefal. It was brand new in the box, and they only had it marked $10. So I always check beforehand. Took the tape off the box, looked inside, knew it was brand new, and at the time I couldn't find any Filtra 1s listed. There was a sale, if I recall, and if there was, I'll pop it up on the screen here. But I was like, you know, not having a whole ton of data to work with. I just priced it as 60 bucks, and you know, let's see what happens. It sold within a day or two for full price. So I probably could have gotten more if I had tried, but I paid 10, I got 60, we're good. So 60 bucks. They paid $16.68 in shipping, and then $4.60 in tax. So $81.27 all in. 60 on 10, you got to take that deal all day long. And I have to tell you, you know, we're in wave 2 of the pandemic. There's going to be a wave 3, and there is going to be a wave 4. We're not out of this probably for another year, unfortunately. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. You know, everybody's out roaming around, and you can see cases spiking, and you know the spread is spiking. But things for people to do at home as fear rises again will be important. Things like cooking, especially. So think appliances, think coffee makers, think air fryers, which always normally do well under normal circumstances, pandemic aside. But keep those things in mind, those home appliances, and if people can cook at home, the more they can do that, you know, within the next like 6 to 12 months, those are items that you really want to keep your eye out for. I am 100% confident that the news is going to beat the increased cases and hospitalizations and deaths to a pulp. That's going to drive fear. It's going to keep a good number of people at home still buying online. So take advantage of that. Look for these items that I show you here. There's a reason why they sell so quickly, so well, more so than they normally would. So yeah, that's my little tidbit for the home goods on that one. All right, last one. Margaritaville Machines. You've seen me do some nostalgia electric machines in the past. These Margaritaville models always do a little bit better. I paid either $40 or $50 on Facebook Marketplace for this, and it was in pristine condition. It looked brand new. I wiped it down just a little bit. It was like one of these things where they were used maybe once and they just kind of gave up on it. This actually also went global shipping. So the buyer paid $200 and then $30.27 in shipping. So they're $230.26 all in before customs and all of that. And again, I paid either $40 or $50 for this. Anytime I see this model, which was the frozen concoction margarita maker. Model number on this one was DM1000. I always pick them up if I can get them at a reasonable price, because it is not a matter of if they will sell, it is a matter of when they will sell. And again, there are not that many. The ones that are put up on Marketplace, or the ones you find in the thrift stores, are usually the ones that were only used once or twice. The people that use them religiously, they're not going to get rid of them. They're not going to sell them. So anytime you see these, or the vast majority of the times you see these in the stores, they're going to be super clean and they're going to work well. So be confident when you see that for sure. But this is a good one to check Marketplace for. I found a couple of them on Marketplace, and I've actually sold a Margaritaville machine for $400. The one that has the like the slushy containers on the top. I'll put a picture up of a comparable of the one I'm talking about on screen, because I can't remember what the name of it was, but I always know to look for them because they sell each and every time. And this is another one, this kind of piggyback onto the air fryer one. People are going to want to drink at home. You know, the bars are having their liquor licenses temporarily revoked right now. Drinking at home will seem safer to a larger segment of our population moving forward. So these will always command a good price, and interest level in these items is going to increase. It is inevitable, and that's going to happen for the next 6 to 12 months as we hit wave 3, which will be the fall season when the kids go back to school, and then flu season once that hits really hard in the winter time. So that's phase 3 and phase 4, and they won't be very far behind phase 2. So keep that in mind, and that is all I have for you at the end of the day. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I'm going to try to knock out like 2 or 3 more videos in the next 2 or 3 days to kind of get myself caught up a little bit. And we'll do all of that wonderful dad, kid playing stuff all in between as time allows. So thanks again. We'll see you in the next video.